Okay, so since the last video, honestly, not a lot has visually changed. Um, I've done a decent bit, like at least I think so, compared to last time, but I don't know. It looks mostly the same. I'm just gonna quickly show how it's looking. Um, I guess I need to. Hello? I gotta resume it. Anyway, overall, shop looks the same. You might notice there's the little money thing up here. Um, and other than that, it's pretty much the same. But since the last time, what I've done is I've made a better transition between the just between rooms, I guess. There's like a little dialogue pop up. I've made it so these the fertilizers work and the plants grow, and I've done the foundation and groundwork for what will be like the tool items, which are going to be more generalized things. But I don't know. Things are going pretty good, I think. Yeah, I'll just buy like one of everything here and then load the next room. So, yeah, what's going to happen is over here, there's going to be like the side of the store, there's going to be like glass doors open here. You'll just walk out, and then you get this little pop up here. Go back to the farm. You can select an option. Um, Obviously, I'm going to try and make it look prettier going forwards, but this functions for now. So you can hit no and then whatever, you can walk away or do whatever, or you can hit yes and leave. Anyway, we're on the farm. Immediately, you might notice that it's a lot bigger now, and I did that because it felt so cramped before to try and put anything in the farm. So now it's completely different. Now let's break down what's new here. Up here we have the plant stations. Um, each one of these obviously gives a different plant. This one is carrots, tomatoes, and potatoes. Yeah, and if you click on them, you'll get a little seed bag there, and then you can just plant it. Potatoes, there's not a lot of visual difference when you plant, but I'll show you the carrots to make it more obvious. Huge seeds lying on top of there, but it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, and then on the side here, there's another station. This is a water station because I always had the idea for this game of you're watering stuff with like water balloons, like you're chucking them around. Because I like the idea of over time you can upgrade your water balloons where they're bigger and then you throw it, it waters a plot, but it waters like adjacent ones too. It's kind of just flavor, but this would be like a water station. You pick it up. It's obviously not a water balloon on the top left here. It's just a drop of water. But you get that. You put on a plot. It gets a bit darker because it's wet, and then now the plants can start growing. Um, all the plants right now grow pretty fast. I do want plants to grow like really quick. Like you're not gonna just harvest like your plant. Like you're not gonna plant something and then like 2 days later harvest it. It's gonna be like you harvest multiple plants every day. Like you are running around planting stuff, harvesting them and selling them. But anyway, that's the basic planting of things. You grab a seed, put it on a plot, water it. If it's watered, it'll grow. Um, yeah, and then you pick it up. The plot is now dry. And yes, this is supposed to be a potato, but I did way too dark a brown, and now it just looks like a steak. I laugh about it every time I see it. I think it's really funny. But yeah, yeah. Once you harvest a plant, it's in your inventory, and you can go over here and you can sell it. And well, I say sell. You're putting it in the truck bed, and then you get the money. And you saw up here it went up. So yeah, that's plants. They're pretty simple. They kind of just have a growth timer, growth stage, and an interval between stages, and it goes up over time, the timer, and then once it's max stage, it's ripe. I do plan on making them become overripe, but I haven't done that yet because I want to make sure everything else is working first before I have overripe stuff, because when a plant becomes overripe, there are different systems in place that I want you to be able to do. One of them will be like if a plant is overripe and you sell it, you get like 30% of its sell cost or sell value. Um, or there could be a composter where you throw it in there, and then maybe with the composter, if you fill it up enough, you'll get like a random fertilizer you can put on something. And I think that could be cool, but I just haven't done that yet because I don't know, I've been doing other things. But yeah, that's those are plants. Then if you go down here, this is the where the fertilizers currently are. So we have three types right now. This one, it increases the cell value of a plant. This one is more of a plot thing. I know it's the the same sprite as a water station, but this sprite was actually first. I just didn't want to make like a well sprite because I was a bit lazy. But anyway, um, this fertilizer makes a plant hold water for longer. So instead of just every plant you have to water it, maybe every 2 plants you have to rewater a plot. And then this one here, the green things are supposed to be arrows going forwards, but I don't know if that really comes across. But this one speeds up the growth of a plant. I'm actually gonna grab. Am I gonna grab 2 of those? No, not really. Anyway, um, yeah, and the ways these work, they just get put on the plot. And now what those fertilizers do to a plant is like sitting in a queue waiting to be applied. So I'm just gonna water this while I'm here. And then what I can do is put a plant on. I'm just gonna put a tomato on there. You plant a tomato, and now all 3 of those effects are in place. Except for the water one, but they're in place, and you might have noticed it grew a decent amount quicker, and now you have it. Also, this one's going to now sell for 20 instead of 10. But yeah, that's pretty much most of the additions that have happened. The dialogue system here. This thing, it took me a minute to figure out how exactly I wanted to do it, because I wanted to be able to reuse this dialogue system for anything. Like I wanted to at any moment be able to create like a little pop-up that asks you a question and gives you responses. And it's not just for room loading, it could be for anything. But that's in place now. Right now it's just used for room loading, but eventually what I want in the shop is somewhere like on the back wall here have like a little donation poster where it's like help us reach our goal, and then you could go up to it and then it will give you that pop-up, and then there's like options for money you can give and then a cancel. But those options do something different than like transitioning a room. So yeah, that's a lot of the differences between now and last video. Pretty much all the mechanics are in place and in a way that's easily expanded upon. Like plants, I can just add more plants and have more variation in what they do. Plants also have a little spot for like other effects, like plant-specific effects that don't require fertilizer to be used. But I don't have any of those yet. It's ready for that. Fertilizers, I can just create tons of fertilizers with different effects because I'll show you how the fertilizers work and why they're easily expandable. But yeah, pretty much to have like the full gameplay loop finished, I just need to add like the daily quotas of money you need to make, and then give you like a day summary, and then send you to the shop, and then you go to the shop, buy more stuff, come back to the farm, and your day starts, and then you need to make enough money, and then you go back to the shop, and it's just gonna kind of loop like that. I guess that's kind of a very broad overview, but that's essentially it. That's how it's gonna work. But yeah. Now, if no one cares about how I do anything, I'm pretty much not going to show the game from now on for the rest of the video, just how certain stuff works. But anyway, first of all, what did we do? We did the dialogues. Where do I have those? I have those somewhere. So, here it is, create dialogue. The way a dialogue works, like the little pop-ups where it said, do you want to go back to the farm? Pretty much all I have to do is do the create dialogue function and put in the main text, the choice list, and the choice method list, which is just based on what you select, what happens on it. So I just put those in, and we make sure that the choice list has, for each choice, we have an action. We make sure we have that, and then we set everything in the UI, and the UI does stuff. Within the UI, this is where we actually control the pop-up. Right here, pretty much you can go left and right and select, and you are always on one of the options, and as soon as you hit select, we just do the function. And I'll show you the application of this in the room load zone. This is what you'll like run into in the shop, like right here. You just run into that, and then it gives you the pop-up. So pretty much, if we're touching the player, then we create a dialogue, go back to the farm, no or yes. And then this here is the list for no and yes. If we hit no, we cancel the dialogue, which essentially just sets everything to nothing, and it disappears and you can go about your day. And then the other one is transition room, which is just like that collapsing thing, like the collapsing circle, and then going into the new room. Nothing has changed about that. And that's pretty much the dialogue creation. I think it works pretty well. I think it's kind of clean. I can do pretty much anything with it. And what I can do for create dialogue is give another parameter to it where it's like the style of pop-up, where I could give it like, instead of just like a screen blur with text on it, I can make it like an actual like window kind of thing, like a box shows up with options on it and other sprites. But I don't know, we'll see. Things I could do, things I want to do, but that's that. The fertilizer is something that I quite enjoy. If we look at this, so if you watched the no free lunch videos and I go over the component system for some of my upgrades there, because I wanted randomized upgrade items, this one's kind of similar to that. The store items, which are technically different than the farm items. I don't know why I did that. At this point, I can't turn around, but it's fine. Pretty much the store item has this information here, which is mainly used just for when you go to a shelf and it shows you what is on the shelf. This is kind of just what's there. And then the rest of the item is here. This struct gets passed to the station when we load the farm, and then the station creates an item based on this. There's very simple stuff like the name, the item type, the station sprite, and the item sprite. That's stuff just for, I don't know. It's it's kind of just for like filtering for the item type or visuals for the sprites. But what matters here is on apply and continuous. A fertilizer can have two different types of effects, one that gets applied immediately upon being put on a plot, or one that will happen every frame. I don't actually have any examples of ones that will happen every frame. I'm kind of just doing that to get ahead of things for when I do actually have those types of effects. But the main one is on apply. So the on apply effects, you can have any number of effects here, and it's just a list of method calls. So we add a function, we add a plot because we need to know what plot we're putting it on, and then the actual effect. This one is reduce growth interval, so speed up growth time. And if we go to here, just in effects, this is them. They are just a method, they're very simple. They pretty much just get our plot and then set a variable on it, or change it. Like, specifically the reduced growth interval is, we actually go through the plot to the seed and we just make the interval less. it's just minus equal, oh, that's the percentage one. Just, oh, this is the percentage one here. Yeah, we just reduce a number of seconds from the growth interval, and that's it. That's all it's doing. So adding different effects for fertilizers is very easy because I just need to know what plot we're on and what seed is on the plot. And I can get the seed information from the plot itself, and then we just set variables. And it just gets called once. Very easy. Um, the actual plots, pretty much when you put a fertilizer on a plot, we add the effects here. And then they get put into that list, and then we go through the list and just do the method that's inside it. We just execute it, and then it's good. We just get rid of it after. It's very simple. The water balloon, the watering thing, actually is essentially just a fertilizer and how it works. You put it on a plot, and then it executes a method, which is just here, water plot. So yeah, it works pretty well. Pretty much the only thing limiting me from expanding on what a fertilizer can do and just adding tons and tons of different effects is I don't really want to make more sprites right now. It's a very lazy reason, but I just don't want to make sprites right now. So yeah, I might need to just take a day, sit down, and just do them in bulk when I'm feeling inspired. But yeah, that one works pretty well. Seeds themselves, they're very simple. They don't have a ton of stuff going on. Actually, I guess I shouldn't look at that side. I should look at this side because this is what this is part of the struct. Pretty much we have a sell value. Very simple. It's just a number that can be changed, and when we sell it, we add that to the player's total money. Max growth stage, which is how many stage it goes through before it's ripe. The current growth stage, timer, and interval. Sorry. And this is all it is here. So if the seed is on a plot, pretty much we put it on the plot, make it like located there, set the sprite to the actual plant. Oh, forgot a thing there. And our growth stage actually determines what point of the plant we're on. Because if I show you the plant, let's look at a carrot because it's like the only one that looks kind of decent. It starts here, then it goes to here, and then it goes to here. This is like a fully ripe plant in the ground, and then this is like what it looks like in the inventory. How do we get back to the seed? So pretty much we set the max growth stage to the sprite number, like the amount of sprites we have, -2 because indexes start at 1. So that's the maximum amount of times it can grow. And then pretty much we just increase the timer until we reach the interval, and then we go up a stage. And then we increase the timer until we hit the interval, and then we go up a stage. And once it's ripe, and it's done. Simple as that. Yeah, works pretty well. So the only thing I haven't done is the tools, but tools are essentially going to be the same as they're going to behave the same as a fertilizer, except pretty much when you buy them is when the effect goes through, because what a tool item is going to do, like what the category mainly is like upgrading the player's stats. Like you could upgrade its movement speed or the interaction range. They could also affect the water bottle. Just when you buy something, it could be like all your water bottles now water adjacent plots. It could be a universal thing where it's like all plants now grow faster, things like that. Or what I plan on adding is like a hoe that will used to till plots. And then when you buy it, it just shows up in your inventory at when you first load into the farm, and then you use the item a bunch of times, and then it's gone. So yeah, tools are more like are going to be more along the lines of like upgrades, whereas fertilizers and plants are going to be more of things that like mesh together to create like cool synergies to make as much money as you can. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, going forward, I'm gonna add some tool items just to make it feel a bit more rounded and fill up the shop. We'll probably do the days, like you go from the shop to the farm, make your quota, go back to the shop. Your quota's now increased. You got to make more money. That whole thing. You know, the classic roguelike cycle. And yeah, then we add a main menu, which is really not much of a big deal. But once you have a main menu, then it can start feeling more like a game. But yeah, once we get those done, then it's just about adding items. Kind of just do as many as we can. And yeah, then we probably just, after that, we kind of just put it out there for people to play and tell me how it feels. And then we'll see. Um, yeah, that's about it.